Hey my friends, it's Chuck Cassidy here. You know, if you've never bought a 30-year-old vehicle sight unseen halfway across the country, then flown out there to pick it up in an attempt to drive it back without breaking down or running into obstacles, we've got a lot in common. Now, if you've done that in the middle of winter from a place called Portland after their snowiest winter since World War II, well then you and I are about to have a lot in common, because that's exactly what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm catching an early flight out of Denver to pick up a very special bus. This bus might be the fastest school bus in existence. Rumor has it, and I've heard from good sources, that it can go over 90 miles an hour without breaking a sweat. It's only 30 feet long, it's all mechanical, it's low miles, it's rust-free. I mean, we're checking boxes left and right, you know what I'm saying? And we're about to be checking bags. Don't go anywhere, because if you're getting started in the schoolie life and you're going across the country to pick up your first bus, you're not gonna wanna miss this. Well, there's no better plan than to just plan for everything. And so I thought I'd show you what I'm putting in my bag that I'm taking with me on this trip. And I feel like Mary Poppins right now, but I haven't looked in here in a while, so let's see what we got, eh? Oh yeah. Yep. I guess we'll start with the bag itself. I'll be checking this bag because you can't carry all these tools on board with you. I like these old tool bags that you get when you buy the kits these days. A lot of times the limit's 50 pounds and it's easy to hit 50 pounds of tools, so you don't want a very big bag. Let's get started with my favorite category of tool, and that is preventative maintenance tools. We're picking up a bus we've never seen before, so we'll need to make sure that we have what we need to check it out. So I like to bring a rag. These disposable gloves are super handy in case you gotta get dirty on the side of the road somewhere and you don't have a way to wash your hands off. I also like to bring something a little more industrial in case you really gotta get in there. Now, when you're driving, I really like these laser temperature guns because they are an awesome diagnostic tool. So about maybe an hour or so into driving, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shoot the temperatures on all of the hubs of my wheels to make sure that I don't have any bearing issues happening there. It's also a great way to shoot the temperature if you're unsure about the accuracy of the engine coolant temperature gauge or the temperature of the engine. You can use this to get a verification that you're not overheating, or if it tells you you are, you can use this to determine if in fact you actually are overheating or if the gauge is bad. I love this tool. It's like, now you can get them for like 50 bucks. Of course, my trusty headlight, I love this thing. You know, hopefully we don't need it. Hopefully we're not having to get under the bus at night, but even during the daytime, this can really shed some light on problems you're having. Oh, you gotta bring a multimeter with you, because if you have any type of electrical issue, this tool is indispensable for figuring out what the heck is going on. And preemptively, you can use it to verify that your voltage gauge on the dash is correct. And you can also use this to test things like your alternator and stuff before you hit the road, hopefully while you're still in town and can buy a new one. You know what I'm saying? Great. I think that covers it for the preparatory tools. Let's take a look at some tools you'll need in those less than ideal situations where you're experiencing obstacles. Starting with immediately a selection of hose clamps. Ooh yeah, I've got some good ones in here. Hose clamps are amazing because you can use them to hold things, clamp things obviously, or in one case, you know, I had a leak in a fuel line and I was able to cut the finger off of one of my gloves, put it around the line and hold it in place with a clamp, and that held well, it held so well I didn't actually properly fix it for about a year. Number one cause of low power in a bus, especially if it's been sitting for a while, is a clogged fuel filter. And I love these universal strap wrenches. They'll work on just about any size or any type of filter you can imagine. I mean, they go big. This one's seen better days. I love this. Hopefully I don't have to change any fuel filters, but if I do, I'll be using this guy. Of course, I got a couple rolls of wrenches here, metric and standard, or SAE, whatever you want to call it, Imperial. I've got a small ratchet set. Now, if we get into some big problems here, I need something bigger, that's what roadside assistance is for. If you don't have roadside, well, get it. Would you get it before you walk out the door, please? You gotta have. It breaks my heart to see what some people endure because they didn't get that set up beforehand. Next, does it even count if you don't bring some duct tape? This is the fancy kind though, the gourmet gorilla style. What's better than duct tape? Well, the advanced version of that. That's baling wire. You could, I'm pretty sure, hold the entire bus together and remove every fastener and just replace it with baling wire if you had to. This is a big spool, more than I need, but you know, I don't want to chance it. Now what's this, you know? Well, this is gasket material. If you spring leak or have a blown gasket of some type, not a head gasket, of course, you can cut yourself a new gasket using this, and it could really get you out of a pinch because you might not be able to get the gasket you need. You know, unfortunately, your local Napa doesn't usually stock a whole lot of bus parts. It's not a trip without a pair of vice grips, maybe the best tool ever invented, a crescent wrench. You're gonna want needle nose pliers, and of course, some, regular old water pump, channel lock. Love these, Knipex. Bring in a spool of wire just in case. Maybe you'll have to run a new line. You know, if the bus doesn't have a cigarette lighter or a charging port on it, I will go ahead and hook one up. So I'll be bringing this wire, cheapo little wire stripper, and then I've got a selection of wire nuts and stuff. I like wire nuts for emergency repairs because you don't need another tool to set them. You can splice a whole bunch of wires together, but when you get to where you're going, you probably should put in, a good crimped connection with heat shrink. I've got an assortment of screwdrivers. I'm probably gonna add a few more to this. I've got this is a spoon for adjusting brake drums. I don't think I'm gonna need it on this one. I like to have small screwdrivers too. You never know when you're fiddling with electrical things. Oh, and this, gosh, I should have talked about this sooner. This is a tire pressure gauge. And you can't just grab the one that you use in your car because it probably doesn't go up high enough. You want one of these big boys that'll go up to, I think this goes to well, let me tell you, it goes to 160. We're not gonna be running that high, but we are gonna be running about 90, 95 PSI, and I wanna make sure that our tires are properly inflated because underinflated tires are the number1 cause of tire failure. Yeah, so check it out. You really wanna make sure you're running your tires at the right PSI because a blowout, it's a blowout. Zip ties, oh man, where would I be without these guys? And let's see, last but not least, I've got some safety glasses and I've got a set of earmuffs. Now this bus, I have a feeling it's gonna be pretty loud. It's a front engine, flat front school bus, totally stock, and I'm gonna be driving it for at least about 24 hours. These are amazing for just reducing fatigue. I think that one of the leading causes of me feeling tired on the road is just a really loud driving environment. And if you can get that sound level down, oh my gosh. Bring in some USB chargers, USB cables, and if you got the room, it's really nice to have something to hold your phone for GPS while you're driving. Like, you got enough stuff to worry about. Let something hold your phone and point it at your face so that you can just glance down and see where you're going. It's gonna be sensory overload if you've never driven a bus before, believe me. So make it easy on yourself. And you wanna bring a lighter, why not, But it just seems safe. Boy, I get tired just thinking about all this driving. It's about 5:30. Bags are packed. My ride's picking me up any second to go catch this flight. Well, I made it to Portland and it's cold. I realized I need to take a second and explain to you what the heck I'm doing out here. Why this bus of all buses? What's the story? Let's go somewhere a little more quiet and I'll tell you what's going on. Look, there's no shortage of school buses all over this country. So why am I picking up one that's 1,300 miles away from my shop? The answer is because it's a unicorn. I've got a thing for unicorns, and this bus checks a lot of special boxes. It's only got 104,000 miles. There's no rust on it anywhere. It has the Cummins 12-valve all-mechanical turbo diesel 6-cylinder engine, which is a really great, very simple, very reliable engine. And to top it all off, the previous owner of this bus spent $7,000 on preventative maintenance and upgrades to it. And the best of those upgrades is that the rear differential, the gear ratio inside that differential was changed from a 4.7 to a 3.5. And what that does is it means that at any given speed, the RPM of the engine is much lower with this new gear set. So if you're driving down the highway, for example, instead of the engine screaming at like 2,400 RPM and you're only going 55 or 60, now the engine will be going about 2,000, 2,100 RPM, and you'll be cruising around 70 miles an hour. That's really good for fuel economy. The engine is much quieter. It obviously raises your top speed, and it's gonna prolong the life of the engine because it's not spinning as fast. So this bus, I found out about it through my network and had the opportunity to buy it. I'd actually known about this bus for 2 or 3 years. And when I found out that the owner of it was not going to be converting it like they planned, I was very keen on buying it. I had to strike while the iron is hot. And that, my friends, is why you find me driving 1,300 miles from Portland to Denver to bring this bus back. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, so it's a Bluebird and it's only 30 feet long. It might be just under 30 feet. So it's got a great turning radius. It's very small. And for the size, it's the most amount of living space you can get bumper to bumper. That's why I bought that bus. That's why I'm putting myself through this. Let's go pick that bus up, shall we? I'm gonna hop inside. Hey, sorry I didn't get to share the pickup moment with you, but it's raining and it's awful. So I'm gonna get my butt to a gas station. We're gonna fuel up and then I'll go ahead and go around and do an inspection. I know it's in running condition, but you know, I wanna know, everyone's got a different definition of running condition. So I'll see you in a second. All right, well, our first step is we're gonna fill this up because you never trust the gauge. Here's the inside. It just completed a road trip and some servicing. Looks like a bus that's been sitting for a while. I'll tell you what, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna check the fluids in here. We're gonna check our oil. Once we get warmed up, we'll check our transmission fluid, check the coolant levels. Woo, I know it's loud, but you wanna check your transmission fluid when the engine's running and up the temperature with the transmission in neutral. And then I'm checking the oil. The fluid looks amazing. The oil is good. I'm gonna check the coolant outside of the gasket. This is something you want to check before your engine gets too hot or in the front of the bus. This is a sight glass, so you can see where the coolant sits. But I have a hard time trusting these because they get cloudy, you can't tell what's going on. So before the engine gets up to temp, you take a peek in here. We're full up, and it looks like they're using the extended life coolant, which is great. That's exactly what we want. The comedy of errors that is bus life, the heater on this bus appears to not be working. But I've opened up the dash panel and the outside panel, and I got my defrost going. It's some electrical issue in here, and I think I'm just gonna jerry rig something and just try to stay warm on this trip. So I got the defrost, I got the heater by the door going. I might see if I can get this. There's a little heater down here that would be a delight if I can make that work. I'm feeling the pressure to get some miles going because it's starting to get overcast and there's a storm coming. I gotta get out of here. So we're about 30 miles in, and this bus, that gear ratio, it's honestly, it's really something. Right now I'm at about 2,000 RPM. We're on flat ground, and the bus is going 65. And that's just perfect. If you've never had the experience of driving a bus on the highway where the engine is just at your cruising speed, right at its peak torque curve, you know, that's where the engine is most efficient, where it's generating peak torque. And it's not going to be up at the red line. So on this bus, I don't know what it is for the Cummins 5.9. I would presume it's somewhere in the 1,800, 1,900 RPM range. I could totally be wrong, but it's definitely not up at like 2,400. I'll give you an update as soon as there's something to update you on. I mean, this doesn't even make sense. Am I in a bus? I have to say it. This bus is absurd. That's Columbia River line. That's crazy. Well, I mean, the speed limit is 70 on this stretch, and we're doing it. I mean, I'm not keeping it forward. I'm not even trying to do it. I mean, I'm trying to do it, but you know, we're not trying hard. I'm passing another truck. Like, this is crazy. We're going. The speedo is 3 miles an hour slow, not a percentage, just 3 miles an hour slow. 2,100 miles an hour, or 2,100 RPM, 70 miles an hour, and everything just rocks steady. We've been doing this for the better part of 2 hours, 3 hours now. No changes. We'll just stop to get gas, diesel, okay? After the first about 200 miles, and I'm so excited because check this out. We put in less than 20 gallons of diesel and we went over 200 miles, which means we're getting over 10 miles to the gallon, and I'm driving 70 miles an hour. It's amazing. I checked all the fluids. I checked oil. All the fluids are good. They're just as full as they were when I left. And I checked the temps on all of the hubs, and all of the hubs are just lukewarm. I mean, 90 degrees, 100 degrees. Really looking good. The bus is driving amazing. I'm juiced, I'm jonesing, I'm ready to keep cruising. So I'm gonna get plugged in and keep putting these miles behind me. The bus is doing amazing. Slowest I got down to coming up that, I don't know how steep it was. It felt crazy. Slowed down to 48 miles an hour. That's it. You know, I'm just very happy with the bus. I can assure you, it looks worse than it is. But it ain't that great. About 100 miles from Boise, and I'm going about 45 or so. I really want to make it to Boise. That puts me in dinner after 10 o'clock tonight. Find some food, that'd be sweet, get a good night's rest, and strike out super early tomorrow. Made it to Boise, here at the lovely Red Lion. I made it. I'm safe. And we got a lot more driving to do tomorrow, I'll tell you what. Good morning, everybody. It got pretty cold last night. And it's, you know, it's that fun time where you've spent your first night out in the wild, and we'll see if we have a bus that will start or a battery that's, I mean, the possibilities are endless. Our air pressure held pretty well overnight, especially in the cold. Buses like to leak down, so that's a good sign. Ready? Holy smokes. Whoa. No smoking. That was incredible. I was expecting a lot more of a fight there. I am gonna take I-70 back. I-80 is closed right now, and I hate I-80. It's just the worst. It's not cool, it's not safe. I would take the mountains, so I think we will. We are flying. 77 miles an hour. Coming out of Boise. Oh, we found a leak. There's a diesel leak right there. So I'm heading back to Boise. We get some lines and just tighten that up. So something insane just happened to me, and I have to, I mean, unbelievable. Let me show you what went down. I was driving down this street on my way to Harbor Freight. And you know, I've got this fuel thing happening, and all of a sudden, right about there, the engine shuts off. I'm going 20 miles an hour. This light just turned green. I'm approaching. I gotta get off the road. I lost power completely. I throw on my right turny, turn in here. Somehow this area, this whole passage was free, and I snake in here with no power steering, and just stick it right in here. What the? When you get a bus and it says 50 gals, probably shouldn't believe it. That was wild, and I know I'm out of diesel. Well, the gauge doesn't work, but I was just tracking my miles, assuming I had 50 to go. But take a look at the fuel filter. She's empty. So I'm gonna go figure out how to get 5 gallons of diesel or so from across the street into the tank, put a little back in the filter, and then we could go fix our problem, you know? Holy shit. I was coming down this street, engine dies here, and then I just snake right in, whoop, and then, I mean, that's, you know, wow, nice. Okay, fuel filter's back on. I got 4 gallons in the tank. I hit the priming pump a bunch. Let's see what we get, huh? Now it's gonna surge, and hopefully it'll just hit its stride and stay running for me. Okay. It up and idle for a minute. So that It's not that. Oh, please deliver me from evil. I think it was a success. I got some really nice burly gloves. I got some line wrenches and some ratchet extensions for my 3/8" ratchet. So this is an injector line here, and it's where it connects onto the back of the injection pump, and I suspect it's loose. But these wrenches, they slip over that nut right there, and then you stick your ratchet in there, and you can put an extension on it, and it's the only way I'm gonna have a shot at getting into that mess there and trying to tighten those up. So hopefully it's just loose. Oh, never seen one come loose though really before, so okay. I tried everything I could to tighten that up, and I'm like 98% sure that the line itself has a crack in it. It doesn't sound like it's super uncommon. I can't source a new line anywhere on my route. Cummins has them, but they're several days out. So what I'm gonna do, go into an auto parts store, and I'm gonna buy some hose, and I'm going to disconnect that line either at the pump or at the injector, we'll see. And then I'm gonna put the hose over the end of that line and stick the hose back in the diesel tank, so I'm at least not wasting the diesel. I'm pretty sure the leak is bad enough. I've lost my number 5 cylinder. It doesn't have enough to pop the injector open. So instead of just wasting all of that fuel, I'm gonna try to reroute it to the tank. Okay, where's my fix? I went in there and used hose. I disconnected the broken injector line and put the hose where the line was. That hose is feeding that diesel back to the tank. So now I'm not going to be making a mess everywhere. I'm not going to be wasting all that diesel. Well, about 20 miles out, and it looks like the leak patch is holding. Basically, I'm just, sending that fuel back to the tank that would have otherwise leaked out. It does mean that this Cummins is now a 5-cylinder. It's still pretty fast, which is great, but I have a feeling my fuel economy is going to be really good on this leg compared. Oh my God, it was like the leak was not good, my friends. It's starting to try to snow. Kind of it'll really kick your butt, huh? Oh my gosh. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes from stopping for the night. And, I'm not sleepy at all. But what a day of trials and tribulations. We'll check in again with you when we get to Brock's. I made it to my friend Brock's house. And, he's a bus guy. So, do you know where I'm sleeping? I'm sleeping in a bus. And I'm so stoked. It's like having my own little penthouse. This is the bus that I helped Brock install a mini split on last summer. And it was originally built by my other friend, Jax Austin, the great. Jax, I'm crashing your pad tonight. And Brock, I'm crashing your pad tonight. What a day. I'm just grateful to be on the road. We're not leaking diesel. See you in the morning. I slept like a dream. So good to sleep in a bus. Honestly, thank you, Brock and Heidi, for hosting me. Let me show you my plan for today. Or my wardrobe, actually. I'm bringing out the heavy artillery. I got my gutted team yellow shirt. This is for you guys. I need all the good vibes I can get today because we're going home. And I got my yellow bandana. We're gonna do this. I'm so optimistic. The bus is doing really well on 5 cylinders, and I don't feel alone, y'all. Your bus doesn't come with one of these. You are playing with fire. Yesterday I started very quickly. It was not as cold in Boise as it is here. Let's see what we get. Oh, almost. Almost. And we're running. All right, here's the deal. It's really cold. It's snowing. My bus only has 5 of the 6 cylinders working, but we're not leaking diesel, and we're gonna just go for it. We're taking I-70 back because I'll take mountain passes over the whiteouts on I-80 any day, any day. Driving in the mountains is not something I'm afraid of. Whiteouts, they scare the crap out of me. It's a 9-hour drive if everything's perfect, so I'm planning 12. Woo! Well, another hour. Everything's holding steady. It's snowy. I'll flip it around and show you, but we're in it. I've trained my whole life for this. I'd say they call this pretty snowy in most parts of the world. Boulder Summit, yeah, so this is the top. Nice. So in theory, everything's gonna get a little better. And I think this is my last major pass until Vail Pass. And I'm really trying to hit Vail Pass before it gets dark. I want the photo op. Well, the snow is happening, for real. The roads are still good. This is doable, we can do this. So here's the deal, you know. If you're driving on the hot interstate or any road, you see first responder or just anybody parked on the side of the road, get the hell over, would you? God, is there anything for anybody in here who's ever found themselves on the side of the highway and there's people who don't move over? Holy shit, come on. Look out for your phone, man. Would you? Got the shades on because it's actually sunny. I have no idea actually what's going on in front of me. But right here, this is good. Yeah, like the next 5 miles for sure. Just gonna try to send it. Just snap a picture on top of Vail Pass if we get there in time. By the way, I am still going 70 miles an hour on the flats on 5 cylinders in this bus across eastern Utah. Yeah. That's incredible. Look, another sprinter. All right, well, all in all, things are going very well. We've gone the whole day with no issues on our fuel leak repair. We've been on 5 cylinders and honestly making great time still. And we're approaching Vail Pass, which is the last, real tough summit here. And they just lifted the traction law, which means I don't have to put chains on to go up it. And right now, we're only about 20 miles or so away from the pass, and the roads are completely dry. It's not snowing. There's even some late afternoon sunlight. Oh, it's just it's really good for morale. Oh, I feel so good right now. This is not bad at all. Boy, I am just so grateful that everything on this trip is happening the way it's happening. Glad I'm doing this today. Got my photo. It's time. No leaks. Time to go downhill. The only thing worse than going up a mountain pass in the middle of winter is going down. We're gonna go nice and slow. This bus doesn't have engine braking, so we're gonna be taking it easy. The Eisenhower Tunnel, which is in about 10 or 15 miles or so, has a tremendous traffic jam. And so I'm contemplating taking Loveland Pass instead. It's a beautiful path. Saved me about 25 minutes, but it might be simple. What would you do? I have a feeling it's going to be beautiful up there, and if it's no extra time because of the backup on the interstate, man, I'm just going to do it. I think it's going to be gorgeous at the top if it's not super cloudy. Here we are. Top of the world. Ooh. We're gonna go slow. I don't have to tell you why. Going to be doing brake checks all the way down, because that's really the only way to know how slippery things are. You can look at this, it doesn't look too bad, right? Oh, and if you're in first gear, by the way, in the AT545, you do get some engine braking. That's where I'm at right now, which is good if you're going under 20. Interstate. That's ice. It's pure ice. Jesus. That moment, you know, you feel your wheels no longer doing what they're supposed to in relationship to the pavement. That's awesome. It's funny, you'd think that the interstate would be clearer than the past. Well, I didn't see this one coming, you know. So, stuck behind the snowplows. It's great. The roads are kind of plowed now, which is cool. But my top speed has been about 20 miles an hour. And between coming down off the pass and the fact that all this is all downhill, I've really not been on the throttle at all. And my engine is cooled off completely. Like the temperature gauge now is below, it's off the scale. It's on the other side of 100. And so that means I truly have no heat. And it's pretty cold out, you know? My toes are frozen. I guess it must have snowed in Denver or around Denver recently. I didn't even, you know, why even check that weather, you know? That little snowplow party added a solid hour. Look at that. Fine hotel. All right. We did it. Guys, we made it. It's home. I'm gonna go get in a normal sized vehicle and get out of here. Now I gotta figure out what to do with it. Any ideas? Let me know.